keep that in mind.
Yeah, hey, forget I asked.
That'll definitely do.
Ew. Join the Discord.
It was the least fun I've ever had playing this game.
A small but vibrant and extremely humble community.
No, I've seen the sleeves, but I'm like, you said you're suiting up, and then you put your sleeve on. Thank you for saying that.
Because I'm a demon on the keys.
Next thing I know, we're both dead. I immediately left the lobby.
In Vietnam.
What are they playing for? Are they playing to win?
Stay humble.
Stay humble.
We are finally live post Vanguard video game playing. Now before I say anything else, let me regale you all with a tale, okay? I get on stream excited on fucking Thursday morning to play the Vanguard beta. It's all pre-installed and everything. Boot up, crash instantly. Fast forward 6 hours, trying every fucking fix I can find, crashing instantly. Awesome game.
Must not have found the right fix.
I'm in my BIOS changing XMP profiles and RAM speeds.
Were you really?
This is how down bad I am, right? Because I wanted to play the goddamn beta, okay? And then I basically throw in the towel. I'm looking at Twitter with some other people that are having this issue where they just instantly crash. And one Twitter reply, this Twitter reply has no replies of its own, 0 likes, but he's like, he says something like, I wonder if it's like the MDub beta or Cold War beta where you can't have too many friends on your friends list or you'll just crash. And I was like, well, because of the customs and shit, I have entirely too many BattleNet friends. Fuck it. I'm going to start just culling my friends list and see if this fixes it. As soon as I'm under 100 BattleNet friends, I have not crashed since. That was the problem. Cool. Man, how the fuck would anyone ever figure that out, by the way? I got so lucky that I saw a random Twitter reply that was hypothesizing maybe this would be the issue.
Yep.
Because I had tried Tanner's account, and no crash on his account. It worked totally fine. So I was like, okay, well, it has to be something to do with my account and not my computer, because it can obviously run the game. So then I saw the reply afterward, and I was like, you know what? That would make sense, because Tanner has 30 BattleNet friends, and I had 170 or something. So cool, and fuck Vanguard. Welcome to the show, episode.
Got it.
Number 166. So I played the beta. I figured it out. My name's Casey Razinon. I'm joined by Tanner Dropshot. How you doing, little buddy? You finally don't sound sick.
Oh, well, I'll make sure to sound sick now. So, yeah, cool. Hey, what's going on?
Cool, man. Well.
Welcome.
I mean, well, the more you talk, you always sound sick, but psychologically, not physically.
Well, you always sound fucking stupid, so.
Okay, well, welcome to the show. So today, we are talking about Vanguard and the beta. And we've been talking a lot about Vanguard because it's the next game coming out. In fact, in 47 days, the time of recording this ep. And until today, we hadn't played the game. And as we have said in a number of our episodes relating to Vanguard, both in Patreon episodes at patreon.com/dropshot, $5 a month, in fact, best way to support the show, and more bonus content available. A lot of bonus shit. Patreon.com/dropshot. We've also said it in our public episodes too, which is this. Our opinions on some things are subject to change until after we play the game. And we're going to bring those things to light. Because some opinions of mine definitely changed after having played the game, where you realize things that you can't really figure out just by watching. So, and then a lot of our opinions were confirmed or reinforced even, which we will, of course, get into. So, So today we're reviewing the Vanguard beta, and I don't really have any announcements to make. I want to kind of just get straight into this, unless Tanner, any announcements from you?
Oh yeah. No, T Hypes, was that who it was? Yeah, T Hypes donated you $100 and says Tanner is getting more.
Well,
he just donated me $101.
You
so
son of a bitch, T
get
Hypes.
absolutely shit on. And he said Raz is a closet Rick and Morty fan.
Does
that make you mad? Fuck Rick and Morty. I should refund his money. If he actually likes Rick and Morty, I want this money refunded to him. Should I do that?
You should send it to me and I'll process the refund
and
for
then
you.
You'll refund it. Yeah,
Yes.
that's smart. I'm going to send it your way right now. That's
yeah, great. And
that sounds good.
Yeah, I'll take care of that ASAP.
Yeah.
I'm not,
Yeah.
I don't dislike Rick and Morty. I dislike Rick and Morty fans. They're the worst people. The show is fine, but Rick and Morty fans,
yeah.
Oh, I hate them. They're so embarrassing, dude. So if you like Rick and Morty, keep it to your fucking self. That's what I want you to do. I like Rick and Morty. Keep it to your fucking self.
I don't think it's funny. I'm probably not smart enough though to understand the humor in it. I would imagine.
Okay, dude.
Yeah, T-Hive. So really, you're insane, buddy. Thank you very much for the $101 donation, buddy. You're a god.
Yeah. Well,
stop watching Rick and Morty though.
Of course. Yeah, no, T-Hypes, thank you for real. Buddy, I appreciate it. We appreciate it. And you owe me $1.01, obviously. All right. So other than that, Tanner, any other announcements to make? The merch is coming soon. Most of it is done and ready to be picked up, but we're still waiting on something. Yeah, I got an email, Tanner. He was like, the shirts are done, but not the glasses yet. Or
Didn't
vice
tell
versa.
me. Great co-host. Fuck you, man.
There's nothing to do.
Fuck you,
Why
man.
make a trip? Anyways, doesn't matter.
It doesn't matter. It won't be live on the shop for a few weeks anyways. So, yeah.
So we said it would be live before the end of this month.
You said that. You lied.
Well, Tanner forced me to say it, and I did, and against my will, I told him we probably shouldn't do this, but he made me, and so
I can't wait to open up the shop sometime in October and then go to Hawaii for the entire last week of October and not ship anything out and have everyone DMing you asking where their orders are. Fuck you.
Hey, DM away, dude. Hey,
yeah,
DM away.
Yeah, I guess so.
I won't notice. It'll be lost in a sea of DMs that I simply won't reply to because I don't have the fucking patience, dude. No, I'm kidding. I actually cleaned up my Discord DMs recently. I replied to most of them. I've got probably 15 more now because that was a week ago or something. And this is just hashtag suffering from success, of course.
Are we more behind on the Q&A or your DMs?
That's an exceptionally good question that I can't answer. I don't know.
Someone should DM Raz Merry Christmas and we'll see when he opens it.
Don't do that.
Yeah, we should do it.
Do not DM me Merry Christmas.
Yeah, you don't want that.
Hey, if you want to DM me Merry Christmas on September 18th of 2021, here's what I'll do. I'll open your DM and block you.
Got it.
There you go.
You can send me a Merry Christmas. I don't mind.
Send Tanner your fucking happy Halloweens.
Yeah.
And Kwanzas and all of those items.
Also send some Halloween outfits to the P.O. Box and we'll wear them on stream this year.
Oh, yeah. We're going to be shutting down the P.O. Box pretty soon.
Yeah. We haven't gotten anything in 8 months. So
yeah. So if you wanted to send us anything, you have, I don't know how long until our renewal date. We're not going to be renewing because you guys don't like us and aren't sending us items anymore. Cringe. So exclamation point P.O. Box in chat. Or you can see the show notes / description. But for real, merch coming soon, TM. And Patreon episode's going to be coming quite soon as well. I think we have 1 or 2 out already. We'll be getting those rolling again next week. We didn't do any this week because of the Vanguard beta, which we're going to talk about right now. So if you're listening for the jingle, here it is.
I thought we had 3 out. I guess it's 2 then. It must be 2.
We could have 3 out.
We have 2 out.
Boys and girls, finally, welcome to the show. Today, we are talking about Vanguard and the beta, because we've actually played it. So, briefly, I'm going to go over how we've structured this. We considered making like a pros, cons, surprises, and overall kind of section. But instead, we're just going to be talking pros, cons, and then overall kind of review. And within those categories, these will be in no particular order. We will point out when things were surprising to us, because as I was saying earlier, we knew going into this that we would have had some opinions before that were going to change after playing. We just didn't know what specifically those would be, obviously. Now we do. So we'll be pointing those things out. And this can be edifying maybe for those of you who have formed a lot of your opinions based solely on seeing the gameplay rather than playing it yourself. You might glean something from how our opinions have evolved pre and post, playing ourselves. So we'll point those things out. We're going to start with the cons, and then we're going to talk about the pros of the beta. I don't think we really need anything other than that. This is not an exhaustive list in either case. The cons list is more exhaustive, I would say, because I'll start by saying this is feeling a lot like MDub in this particular way, which is there aren't that many problems with the game, but the problems there are really big problems.
Yeah.
So the cons list actually isn't that long, and I still feel like it covers pretty much all of the cons that I feel for the game so far. There are obviously things we don't know, like all the perks, all the field upgrades, all the maps, weapon balance. We're not going to know those things until the game comes out. But again, this cons list is going to be pretty much everything. But the pros list won't be. We're going to go through some kind of broad points with respect to what we liked about the beta, but there was a lot we liked about the beta, and we're not going to sit here and say, oh, I liked the DP 123. It seems balanced. Also, yeah. I liked the STG. That seemed balanced too. Like, we're not going to go through every little thing we liked, because when you're playing a fucking video game, you should expect to like most things. But we'll be talking about things we either really liked, or things that were different from Cold War and MDub, or things that we were surprised to like, or new features of the game that we liked. So we're going to
should say,
go ahead.
One more thing is, in case you guys haven't tried it yet, the beta was extended until Wednesday. So the beta is now available until Wednesday the 22nd. So if you guys haven't played COD in a long time, didn't really care, we're busy this weekend, it is completely open now. You can play it, you can download it whenever, and it ends Wednesday at probably 10 a.m. It was supposed to end Monday at 10 a.m., like when this episode would probably be going up, but yeah, it is Wednesday now. You got a couple more days.
Yes, you do. So we're going to start with cons, and then we're going to get into pros. So that's kind of how we're structuring it, and then our kind of overall take on the beta. All right. Cons. Again, in no particular order. This is weird. So there is I've been experiencing an odd delay between when I engage tack sprint to when my character begins to tack sprint. So I'll double tap shift, and then there will be a solid second, actually, which is a long time in an FPS game, by the way, before my character begins to tack sprint. I don't know why this is. And Tanner has been saying he experiences this same delay with sliding, but not necessarily with tack sprinting? Because I haven't experienced a slide delay. I've only been experiencing the tack sprint delay. So if we disagree on this, but we both are feeling there's some kind of delay, something's going on. Now, it's possible, in my case, that this is like a settings issue, because I was getting so annoyed with this that I went into my settings, I turned on auto tack sprint. So if you move at all, you just start tack sprinting. This is a feature in MDub as well. And how it works in MDub is you press W and your character immediately starts tack sprinting. In Vanguard, sometimes I will immediately start tack sprinting with auto tack sprint on in the settings. And then sometimes I won't. And I don't get it. I don't know why. I don't know if I'm missing something or if I like am out of tack sprint meter or what the fuck is going on, but it's very strange. And the biggest reason, there's a lot of reasons this is a big deal, but the biggest one that is bothering the fuck out of me is that if you are transitioning from a regular sprint to a tactical sprint, and then you press crouch so that you slide, you will not slide. You will stop moving and crouch. And guess what? If I'm trying to slide into a corner because I'm getting fucked in the ass by an MP40, and instead, because I'm switching from sprint to tack sprint, I just stop in place while getting fucked in the ass by an MP40 with sparkler rounds, then I'll die. And that's incredibly fucking frustrating. And it's happened a lot in this goddamn beta, and I don't get it. I don't know why this delay exists, and the fact that when you try to slide between that sprint to tack sprint motion and you can't makes me furious. Have you experienced this delay with tack sprinting, or do you just immediately tack sprint when you want?
I haven't really thought about it. I've just, any movement that I thought have felt off, I've just took it as I'm not used to this game yet, so the movement just feels like something's wrong. I haven't really noticed any major problems with it, honestly. Sometimes I did feel like maybe this was the delay, because sometimes I would feel like I'd be sprinting and then it would like auto tack sprint for me without pressing another button.
Yes.
After I'd already been sprinting.
Yes.
That must be it then. I experienced that a few times, didn't really put much thought into it again. I just figured it was some weird movement mechanic that's in the game now. Because stuff like that takes a while to get used to. Like, it takes longer to get used to the movement of a game compared to, like, gunplay, I think. Like, I can shoot people fine in the game, but moving is the thing that's a little weird going from one game to another. So, yeah, there are some issues there. Not really sure what it is yet. I need to play more, but it doesn't seem like a big issue, honestly. It's probably something to do with them trying to get rid of slide canceling, resetting tack sprint. Probably some factor for that, I would imagine.
Yeah.
But I don't know. Nothing was that annoying to me, honestly, in that sense.
That's odd. Yeah. So, my concerns with this are, I don't know if this is working as intended. I don't know if the devs, and if it is working as intended, what precisely is working as intended? Because I don't understand how the tack sprint works. Because again, sometimes I can go from a standstill and immediately begin tack sprinting, and other times I'll go from a standstill to a sprint, even though I immediately double tap shift to like enter tack sprint, and then after the sprint, after like a second, I'll start tack sprinting. I don't know why. And if it is intended, I want to understand the mechanic behind it. And if it's not intended, then fix it. So I don't know, but either way, it's just weird. I don't know. It's not good though. It's not good because again, if I'm trying to slide and my character's going right into tack sprint at that moment, which happens way more often than you would think, because in like MDub, for example, I'll start tack sprinting for like a second, so that I'm sprinting, so that I can slide, because you have to be sprinting to slide. And then, so at that precise time is when I start switching, and that's when I can't slide. So it's very fucking frustrating and annoying. So I don't know what the deal is there, but yeah. Odd that, yeah, so okay. You experienced something similar. I'm really curious what's happening there, and I just don't know.
I don't
know. So next thing I had written down was that sprinting no longer reload cancels. However, Tanner went into the settings and showed me that's not necessarily true. There's a setting. So for all of you who have been dying trying to sprint to reload cancel and it doesn't work, you can make that a setting so that sprinting will reload cancel for you. This has gotten me killed quite a few times because instead of sprinting, I'll just like move and like be like shuffling, like slow sprinting while trying to reload and die. Because again, I'm used to MW and Cold War where sprinting does maybe just MW. Sprinting does cancel reload, and so I think it's always been a
setting. I'm pretty sure it's a setting for both games.
Really?
I don't think that's there by default. I think that's always been a setting, but I could be mistaken.
You might be
I know
right.
for sure MW had the setting. I'm pretty sure Cold War did too. Almost positive.
I was going to say the opposite. So yeah, maybe they both have the setting then. Yeah. So I guess I just didn't change the setting. But if that's been fucking you guys up, just be aware there is a setting for that. So that kind of assuages my concerns there. And then another thing, by the way, is that the fact that you're allowed to sprint while reloading implies to me that Gung Ho will be a perk in this game. And Gung Ho is a perk that's been in many CODs. It's done slightly different things across different CODs. But like in Cold War, Gung Ho allows you to reload and use equipment while sprinting.
Yeah.
So I'm pretty sure that will be in this game.
I think that was already leaked, if I'm not mistaken. I thought that was on the list of leaked perks.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, I wouldn't be surprised.
I'm positive. Yeah.
Did you change this setting for Vanguard?
Yeah. I think I changed it before I even played, honestly. Or like I played one round and then I went and found the setting because it immediately bugged me. And I'm like, there's got to be a setting for it.
Yeah, I should have thought of that, but I didn't. Yeah.
You don't think about much at all, yeah.
Well, I barely have a brain. Yeah, so there you guys go. Yeah, and by the way, another thing, this pro-cons list is it's not super rigid. Some of these cons are, not exactly cons, so like this one. I don't know, but that's kind of all I have to say on that. Okay, next. This is a big one. This was not surprising, but it was surprising. Let me explain. The audio is fucking abysmal. It is easily, and I know I exaggerate a lot on this podcast. Let me be clear. I am not exaggerating regarding anything I'm about to say about this point. This is all no hyperbole. I'm being genuinely 100% serious. The audio in this game is the worst of any FPS I've ever played, and it's not even remotely fucking close. It is so fucking bad. I am being honest. Hand on my computer. I have not once heard enemy footsteps. I'm level 21 in the beta. I have not once, at one time, heard an enemy moving their character. Literally once. It literally, I swear to God, has not happened once. One time. In a fucking Call of Duty game. Now, I know many of us are used to not being able to hear footsteps if we play a Warzone. But holy shit. This makes Warzone sound like, pun intended, it has good audio. Because you never, ever hear footsteps. What are your thoughts on this, Tanner? Have you heard an enemy moving their character in this game?
So what I've noticed is I'm pretty sure anything behind you, honestly, has to do with an enemy, them firing, them running. I legitimately think you can't hear anything behind you at all. That's what I've noticed the most. I've heard footsteps a few times, and every single time it was when someone was in front of me. Now, very rarely does that happen, because there were so many times on my stream on Wednesday, guys would literally sprint up and be inside of me. They came around a corner, were right in front of me. Even when they were in front of me, I don't hear them whatsoever. You are not exaggerating. I'm actually sitting here trying to think of an FPS title I've played ever in my life that had worse audio, and I don't think there is one. I'm trying to think. MDub, multiplayer, you could hear footsteps easily and gunshots. No issues there with that. I mean, there were audio level issues, like streaks were always way too loud. They never changed that. But all in all, the audio was, you could hear things. Cold War, I could hear things. What other? CSGO, I can hear things. Tarkov, I can hear things. There's so many shooters I've played that I've never had an issue like this. It is so bad. This is like absolutely the worst part of the beta. It's the worst part of the game right now. And this as an issue like really worries me because this is something I don't think will ever be perfect or what I expect it to be. There's a lot of people that always use they always throw around, oh, this is a beta. Listen, if audio that bad made it this far past the countless hours of the developers testing this game internally, and not one dev ever sat and thought, yo, do you guys notice you can't hear anything? Like Jim over here in the cubicle next to me was just shooting at me. I didn't hear his gunshot. None of them said that. I find that insane. And that's what worries me. Because if they don't see that, what changes will they make to make the player base happy? Because, it is so bad right now. Issues, like beta issues are things like spawns, weapon balance. The core game is not changing that much. Now, the audio will change. I don't think it'll be that good. I think this game will end up having the worst audio of any COD ever, probably.
Yep.
And I noticed this in the alpha. I had pointed that out in the Champion Hill alpha. I was like, everything kind of sounds shitty. I had talked even about like reload sounds. I was like, it all just sounds so weird. But after playing it, it was, wow, awful. So frankly, it's just inexcusable. Now, Sledgehammer did already confirm and say that there are audio level issues that they intend to fix, but that none of them would be live during the beta, but they would be out there for the full release. I refuse to believe they're going to change that many things. I just don't. The footstep audio is definitely not going from what it is right now to MDub. They're not making that big of a change. The footstep audio is probably always going to be quiet. It'd be nice to hear enemy gunshots. That's arguably worse than footsteps, because when they're behind me shooting at me, I can't even hear the gun either. Like, what am I supposed to do? I don't hear their footsteps. I don't hear the gun. The announcer is yelling triple kill from a triple kill I had gotten 10 seconds prior, but the audio is backlogged because so many other things were happening. And the announcer was also telling me my team was taking a flag. So then my triple kill got pushed back 10 fucking seconds. It's a disaster.
True.
The audio is a disaster.
True.
Teams are hired for specific reasons. There's an audio team. There is one thing you are hired to do. How are you that fucking bad at it? That bad at it. Imagine being a bag boy at Albertsons, right? and putting groceries in the bag and dropping them on the ground. Like, that's what are you doing, bro? I don't get it. It makes me so fucking mad that they are hired to do audio and they can't do audio. How? What's the point in you having that job, bro? Do something else. But yeah, no enemy gunshots. No footsteps, just nothing. The worst audio of any FPS title I've ever played. Absolutely, yeah.
Yeah. Yep. I second your point, by the way. Sledgehammer is saying they're gonna look into or change it or something. Okay. If footsteps were quiet and I rarely heard them, I would maybe be optimistic on this point. But if I have yet to ever hear an enemy move their character, to think that the audio for footsteps is going to be solved in 40 days is fucking fantasy. There's no chance. There's no chance.
Yeah.
To what degree they will change it and in what ways they will change it, these are all good questions. They might make it better, maybe. But
it will get better,
shit.
I'm sure. But will it be to the level of like what we're expecting? Absolutely not. No, this game is just going to have bad audio. Because like we had talked about before the beta, this is one of those core issues that will never get fixed. This is not spawns. This is not weapon balance. This is a core issue with the game. So.
Yeah, this is really bad. Interesting point about just not being able to hear things behind you. That maybe is it. Because I definitely hear gunshots. But it really is like if something isn't on your screen, as far as the game is concerned, it just doesn't exist.
Yeah, I think that's part of it. Yep.
Like, I think you actually might be right on that point.
Yeah, there are so many kill cams where like someone's like right behind me shooting at me and I don't hear their gunshots. All I hear is like that sound of the bullets going through your body. It's like hit marker sounds, but when you're getting hit, basically. You know what that like little audio cue is? That's all I hear, and then I'm just dead, and there's no time to react or do anything because I don't actually know that person was shooting or where they were shooting from. It's so weird. Very weird.
Yeah, it's odd. And this is something that this really sucks because, as we'll get into, I like a lot about Vanguard so far. But if you can't hear people, and it's also pretty shit visibility, boy, it's tough to play in a first-person shooter game when you're blind and deaf. Yeah. I mean, holy shit, man. I don't care how good the movement is if I can neither see nor hear enemies. Like, that's really a big deal. And the audio is far worse than the visual fidelity of this game.
It's absolutely the worst part of the game.
And it's not because the visibility is great. It's just the audio is just that bad. It is crazy. And yeah, I think we've kind of said our piece on this. But again, how much is it going to change? I don't know, man. But I certainly don't put much faith in the developers saying, don't worry, guys, we're going to fix it. If you've been listening to this podcast for a while, guess what? We've reported on dev studios saying they're going to make things better for 2 fucking years now. And what kind of results do we normally get? Not good ones. Certainly not satisfactory ones. So they'll do something. I don't know what, and I don't know how much it'll help, if at all, but the audio will always be bad in this game, and it is that simple. I would be shocked if Footsteps were performing passably by launch, or even 6 months post-launch, actually. So who knows? But this is really fucking, really unfortunate.
Yeah.
Which leads to visibility. Pretty dog shit. I will say this. There are diamonds above like enemy players' heads. So you guys know how in Cold War you have to use a flashlight attachment? Because if you use the flashlight attachment in Cold War, enemy players will get a little red diamond above their head. Okay, so in Vanguard, everyone has that by default. You don't have to run like an attachment for it. This helps a lot. And if it weren't for that, this visibility would actually be worse than MDubs. Especially on Red Star, for example, or on a map where the sun is out in any capacity.
Or on a map where it's dark.
So when the sun is out and when the sun isn't out, visibility is real bad. And especially when there's a fucking snowstorm, visibility isn't great either. It's atrocious, by the way. I think Red Star has worse visibility than probably any MDub map.
No, I wouldn't go that far. It's pretty dog shit, but you don't always have really long sight lines. It's a big map, but there's not that long of sight lines. So I don't run in like you don't see anything, no, but I don't know. At least you're not like looking from one corner of the map to the other. You're fighting in smaller areas, it seems like. So it doesn't matter as much. Yeah, if you're fighting
inside, it doesn't matter. Yeah, that's fair. But
then you can't hear anyone inside, so if they run up right behind you, you don't know.
Exactly. Like fucking Helen Keller just firing off a machine gun. So awesome. Yeah. But luckily, they have put a Band-Aid on this problem that actually works fairly well, which is, again, those little red diamonds above players' heads. But
it's kind of like this game's like health bars, basically.
Yes, exactly.
That's what helps.
You don't shoot at people in this game. You shoot at little red diamonds. I mean,
oh, yeah.
We're playing Roblox. So that is something. And the diamonds really do help a lot, because then you could, like, if you see the diamond, then you know someone is there. And once you know they're there, you can be like, oh, there is a silhouette. Okay, I'm going to shoot at that now. So, like, it's fine. It's not good, though. The visibility is not good in general. And this is to say nothing about, again, the sun. The sun glare is actually a joke. I mean, we talked about this before we had played, and I am not pleased to report that, yep, this is exactly as I expected it to be. When I saw the screenshots of the sun on Gavutu on people's screens during the alpha, or the PS4 beta, PlayStation beta, I was like, oh, I bet that's going to really fucking suck when I'm in that position. Update. I've since played the game and been in that position, and I can in fact confirm, yep, it really does suck. Can't see. There is a lane on Gavutu that I literally will not use that I would otherwise love to use because the sun is there.
Yep.
I swear to God, I'm not exaggerating. So if you can imagine where B is on Gavutu, okay? If you're playing domination, there's A, B, C. Okay, you're on B flag. B flag. Go to the other side of the map, so you're equidistant from A and B, A and C, but you're like across from B. There's that little pillbox or something. If you're at that pillbox and there's like the beach places, but then there's also like the 2 lanes that have like the concrete walls on the sides. If you're looking at B from the pillbox and you want to go down the left concrete walkway, stop. Don't go.
Oh, yeah.
Yep. Because the sun is there and you won't see anyone. I'm not kidding. I just don't go that way.
You have to look at the ground in order to go that way, yeah.
Just awesome,
that
man.
must explain why, you know? So come to think of it, I've gone up that ramp with the sun behind me numerous times, and in that same spot, I've gotten like numerous like 1v2s or 1v3s against guys that were up by that pillbox. Come to think of it, that's why, because they couldn't see me.
You literally,
like they just couldn't see me.
Dude, literally they can't see you. The sun is eclipsing your entire screen, dude. It is so fucking crazy. So that's really fucking stupid. I don't know if they said anything specifically about the sun glare, because this is another thing Sledgehammer said, like the audio. They said they're gonna fix the visibility or something. So I don't know if they have. I don't know if they include the giant sun in your eyes into that fix, but I don't think they've said anything explicitly about the sun specifically. By the way, imagine discussing a star when we're trying to play a first-person shooter game. What the fuck am I doing, dude? I'm talking about constellations reviewing a beta for a Call of Duty game. This is insane. This is a fucking insane thing to do. I just can't believe it. So I don't know if the sun's going to get any better. They haven't said anything explicitly about it, so honestly, I suspect it won't. I really don't think they'll do much, if anything, about the sun. Because if they were going to, there've certainly been enough complaints for them to address it. So if they haven't yet, I feel like they won't. What are your thoughts on the visibility?
I think they will. I think the sun part will end up changing. But yeah, so they had said from the Champion Hill Alpha, I believe. No, I guess it would have been the beta last week because that didn't have Gavudu in it. But from last week, I know they had said they were looking into like visibility changes, and yeah, that didn't change in this week. And like you and I were kind of talking about, it's like it literally takes more effort for them to add in that sun and all those sun rays than to just not have it there. It's so odd to give themselves more work for something that no one wants and just ruins the visibility. It is odd. I don't get it. And I think that's just what's going to happen going forward when it comes to visibility with modern day FPS titles. What happened? Go back to CSGO. Let's play some DE Dust, some Mirage. They're bright, sunny maps. You can see all of the corners. Everything's bright everywhere. There's no sun. Why can't we just keep doing that? Why do we have to add a sun in at like when you're running some way, you see the sun out there in the distance? Why do we have to do that? I don't need that.
Yeah.
Literally don't have it on the map. Just make it bright. You can figure it out, right?
Absolutely,
so,
yeah.
I don't get it. So visibility in this game is bad. I do usually just shoot at nameplates and not at people. Now that I think about it more, yeah, you kind of, as their nameplate's moving, I essentially line up my reticle with that nameplate if they're far away and you can't see them.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think FPS games going forward is just always gonna have this problem. It's like they want to add a sense of realism to Call of Duty, so we get stuck with clutter, muzzle flash, muzzle smoke, floating dust particles, snow, all of it. And it looks like all of that stuff is great if this is single player.
Yes.
But playing like PvP, no. I don't want that in multiplayer. Absolutely not. So I do think the sun glare will be altered. To what extent, I don't know. I feel like glare will always be there, though. I just think it'll be far less, but we will have glare. Like we have in... I mean, this glare is worse than Warzone, which is crazy to think about. Yeah. It's worse than the glare in Verdansk. Can
you imagine the sun and the audio is worse than Warzone? I mean, would you have believed me if I told you that was going to happen?
Jake said that same thing when he was fucking molding. He's like, I just don't get how someone can make the visibility, or maybe he was just saying audio, but like, I don't know how someone can make the audio even worse than Warzone. How is that possible? And it's true, yeah. But yeah, and then this next thing here, did you see this little note, Sledgehammer, that said about the visibility?
I saw that you put it down. What are we looking at?
So the visibility is pretty bad, this beta, right? So this is what they said. Visibility. Distortion has been turned off globally to improve visibility when aiming down sights. Since we've disabled distortion globally, this will affect the appearance of fire and explosions throughout the beta and reduce overall visual fidelity. This change is a temporary solve to mitigate visibility issues so players can focus on gameplay. So what they're saying is they made the visibility temporarily better. Well, they quote fix whatever they're referring to, and then the visibility will be worse when this game launches. Based on what they said there, they took distortion out to improve it, but then they're going to, quote, fix it and put it back in? Huh? Mm-hmm. How does that even make sense? If like they start there so players can focus on gameplay. Yeah, I'd love to focus on gameplay and not have to look at the sun, right? Why do you say these things and then do something different? But yeah, so don't be surprised when we all start playing the game in a couple months. 47 days, and the visibility is worse than beta. That's why. It's because they made a change this weekend to improve it, and then they're going to make it even worse. Yeah,
that is... I wonder what distortion means.
I think it's a lot of like the muzzle flash and stuff. So in the last weekend's beta and in Champion Hill, when we were talking about that muzzle flash that you got, well, most of the muzzle flash right now is gone. What we see is like muzzle smoke, I feel like, mostly. And then also that distortion is like that heat rising from the barrel that kind of made the screen blurry when ADSing. Yeah, so that's not even in the visibility is this bad. Imagine how the last 2 weekends were. The alpha and the beta. It was literally worse than that. And so that's what they're, quote, fixing now to re-implement instead of just leaving it out like it is now.
Okay.
Right?
Yes, that makes perfect sense.
Crazy.
Oh, yeah, that would, okay.
So it's worse when the game launches.
Yeah, because I haven't noticed that, but I remember seeing like pictures or videos of it or whatever. Yeah. So that's cool.
Yeah.
Next, my impression of the maps is actually quite different from what I expected. So this isn't exactly a con or a pro, but I guess it's more con than pro, so I put it here. Eagle's Nest is the only map that I think is like actually really good and I enjoy playing. I really like Eagle's Nest. I think it's quite a good map. It's fun. It's a good size. No crazy fucking camp spots or power positions or anything. Visibility is good everywhere on Eagle's Nest as far as I can tell, or it might as well be because I haven't noticed any glaring issues with it. Really love Eagle's Nest. Awesome map. That's it. Hotel Royal. If you're inside, every character is the same color as like the brown red furnishings inside. Can't see anyone. I've died to corner campers more on Hotel Royal than all of the other 3 maps combined easily, and it's not even close. So many people fucking corner camp on this map. Very weird. But the reason they do it is because it's extremely effective. You're like a chameleon. You just cannot be seen if you're in a corner. Dude, I've walked into rooms looking at people like they're on my screen in the corner, and I don't know they're there until they start shooting. Like, seriously. Really, really tough to see people inside of Hotel Royal. Not to mention too much clutter and shit anyway. So even if they weren't exactly the same color, it would still be a lot of clutter. The layout is weird. It doesn't flow. There is no flow to Hotel Royal. And I still don't know how it works inside. I just run in and like try and figure it out every time. It's not like I know what room I'm going into. It's not.
It's very easy to
understand.
understand.
It's not, and cringe plus ratio. So that's another thing.
I guess if you're dying as soon as you walk in, you wouldn't know. Yeah, I don't have that issue, so I can.
Okay. Also, the spawns are really bad on Hotel Royal. And we'll get more into that, but I feel like the spawns on that map are worse than any of the other maps. I don't know why, because I feel like it's bigger than Eagle's Nest, slightly. Yet the spawns are somehow worse. I don't get it. I just do not like this map at all. And it's mainly because of the visibility inside. If you fight around the outsides of Hotel Royal, it's fine. It's not great, but it's not like bad on the outsides, like the exteriors. And that's normally where I play because I can see people. But by and large, not a good map. Gavutu is just weird. I still don't really know what to think of Gavutu. The one thing I will say is that if your team controls mid on either the boat or the pillbox, it is very hard to get through mid because those are two like really strong positions. And if you wanted to get to mid or even past it, you're going to have to go through those things. And if people have set up there, it's real tough to do. So like Jake and I were playing TDM, in the beta on Gavutu. We backfilled into a blitz match. So it was 24v24, I think. TDM, Gavutu.
Ooh, I haven't played 24 on that map yet.
It sucks. You spawn in the same spot every time because they have complete map control and it is impossible to break through. There's like 10 people on the boat. There's a couple stragglers like between the boat and the pillbox, and then there's another 6 on the pillbox. You're not getting anywhere. It's just not possible because those positions are so fucking strong. There's head glitches everywhere, and they control mid. They know where you're spawning, and you just don't have a chance. It's similar to like Euphrates Bridge. It's not as bad as that.
Oh yeah.
As that disaster, but the principle is the same. If you control mid, you're not losing it. It's just not possible. So that's not great. But besides that, Gavutu's like okay. I think Gavutu's one of those maps where if you're playing like Hardpoint, I think Gavutu's going to be a really good map because mid control doesn't really matter as much in Hardpoint, at least for pubs. But like domination on Gavutu, pass. Because whoever gets B first just wins the game.
I'm just over Dom in general. Dom has been really boring in this game. I used to love Dom in BO4, Tens Dom and M-Dub, and I don't know, kind of just went to shit. I think Hardpoint is just the most fun to play, and now Patrol is a lot of fun to play too.
I kind of agree with that.
Which kind of sucks, because it's like, I don't like TDM, I don't like Kill Confirmed, I don't want to play Search. It's like, there's not too many good game modes that I actually want to really play now, but you know, hopefully this combat pacing thing will have an effect on that, or we get some sort of ground war mode or something.
Yeah, we'll see. There's still a lot shockingly, and I was saying this to Tanner earlier. At this point, so 47 days before Cold War came out, I feel like we knew a lot more about Cold War than we do know about Vanguard at this time, which is also 47 days out. Like we all saw the vehicles in the trailers. Where are those?
Yeah.
Has anyone even talked about them lately? No.
In all of those trailers, no one has even mentioned it, dude. None of these leakers have said anything. I don't understand what's going on with all of those. Just nothing. Yeah. All quiet about the vehicles, and I don't get it.
It's very strange, and that's kind of part of my point, which is that like there's a lot we actually don't know yet about full release, because there will be something with vehicles in multiplayer. I don't know what exactly, but there's a lot we don't know. But anyways, yes, I'm with you there. Hardpoint forces everyone to move, and you could like play on the whole map. I don't know, but anyways, whatever. And then so Gavutu, I think like patrol's fun on this map. Hardpoint will probably be fun. But like TDM and domination, I just think mid is too defensible. And that if someone controls it, it's going to be virtually impossible to peel them off of it. And then you're just going to be spawning in the same spot for the entire game, trying to push through mid and not succeeding. Because the head glitches are just insane. And there are a lot of like nice little clutch head glitch spots at the middle of Gavutu, both on the boat and on the pillbox as well. Like really nasty head glitches. So that makes Gavutu kind of shit for certain game modes. Most of them, in my opinion. And then Red Star is just terrible. The visibility is awful. It's too big. Even the inside of the buildings where a lot of fighting happens, there's nothing special about those areas. They're not good. They're fine. It's a room. It's another room. They're connected. Yeah. They're two rooms connected because it's a building. That's it, though. Nothing cool about it or interesting. No particular flow. And then that's not to say you're going to have to run a half marathon, a 5K, to get to that room when you spawn, because the map is entirely too big. And the visibility is fucking terrible outside. I mean, the worst. So Red Star fucking sucks too. So really, there's only one map that I think is like really good in this beta, and this surprised me. This surprised me a lot because I expected to have way different opinions of these maps before having played them. What are your thoughts?
I have pretty much opposite thoughts. So Red Star, I will agree with you. Red Star's dog shit. I just, right before we went live for the pod, I finally got Red Star Blitz 24 versus 24. That played better than any other player count on Red Star, I thought. I think it was just, what were we playing? I think it was just TDM or something. I've seen it on like Patrol and stuff, and it's a disaster. But on TDM, it actually played pretty well. Never felt like there were too many players on the map, actually. It felt just about right. So 6s on Red Star, unplayable, horrible, dog shit, way too big. But I think the larger scale game modes, what is it, Blitz and what's the other one called? Assault? Okay, Assault and Blitz. I haven't seen it on Assault yet, but yeah, Red Star, all in all, not a good map. The snow makes visibility kind of bad. The visibility gets bad too when you're outside looking into a building, because you can't see, because the snow's coming from the side, and like inside the building there's like haze. So if someone is in a doorway looking out at you, they have an easy jump on you and you just can't see them when you're looking in. Like it's not fair at all. So Red Star sucks. And that's the worst map in the beta, I think. And it's still, that being the worst map in the beta, that's still better than Piccadilly. It's still better than Azir Cave.
True.
It's still better than Anaya Palace 6s. But a lot of that, again, is to do with the combat pacing, which we'll get a little bit more into. Next one up here, Eagle's Nest. Eagle's Nest is good. I like that one a lot. Just a solid 3-lane map. I think that one plays best on 6s or Assault, which was it 8s or 10s?
I think on Eagle's Nest, it's 8, yeah.
I think that was perfect. 6s on almost every map just feels too slow now. I think 6's Call of Duty is just too boring at this point, unless you're playing Search. I want to see more people, and I want to kill them. So I like higher player counts at this point. It's just too boring running around looking for dumb kids just to, get shot in the back and then have to respawn again. So Eagle's Nest, I thought, played well. It's a little hard to like flank. It's kind of, you kind of just have to hope you start spawning in a different area, because a lot of times you just can't get past on either side with the flanks, especially in the higher player count modes, because it's just a clusterfuck. You're just going head on with other people. There's a lot of grenade spam, a lot of stun spam, all that. But it's still a good map, so I like that. Hotel Royal, it's not great. I don't think it's as bad as what you're saying. The visibility inside isn't great, but also you have to remember, right now everyone's character looks the same. Once people have different operators, operator outfits, we'll start seeing some more color in there. People will be easier to spot. Their guns even and shit. I don't think the inside like doesn't have flow though. I feel like it's pretty easy to understand. Like one side is just like a hallway and there's a couple pillars in it, and then the other side is basically a bar area, like a little dining room and like the kitchen. I don't know. I guess you're just fucking dumb. I don't know what to tell you.
Cool, man.
I mean, kids do sit in there more often. I prefer to stay outside, but I don't have a big issue inside getting killed to corner campers or anything really. If anything, I feel like when I go in, I always end up being behind someone else because they don't hear me coming. I can smash through those destructible walls and be firing my gun, and they still don't know I'm right behind them. So that works out pretty well for me.
Good voice line. They still wouldn't know.
Hotel Royal, I think pretty good still. 3-lane map, pretty solid. Visibility could definitely use some improvements, but not a horrible map. And Gavutu, that and Eagle's Nest are my two favorite. If the sun wasn't on Gavutu, that would be my favorite, definitely.
Really?
But that kind of ruins it. Yeah, I think it plays really, really well. I mean, it's 3-lane map. The spawns and like 6s and everything is better than most of the other maps, I feel.
Yes, true. I think the spawns are best on Gavutu.
I haven't played it in Blitz like you're saying. And regarding that stuff will be tuned. I feel like if it was actually 24 versus 24 on that map, I feel like what they'll end up doing is Blitz will end up being 18 versus 18, 20 versus 20. They'll make a lot of changes like that throughout the year because they've already made some of those from the alpha or from last week's beta to this one. But I like Gavutu. I do really well on it. There are certain areas you can't go. Also, regarding the sun, like you were saying by that pillbox, you can't go down one path. There's also, when you're on the other side of the map, like the more like rainforest side, and the shipwreck is on your right. When you move up that way, the sun blinds you there also. So you have to like avoid that.
Yep.
So then it's like, I want to go over to the pillbox side, but then when I look a little bit too right, then I get hit with the sun again. So that map though, without the sun, I think is pretty good. Flows well. I like the placement of like the little building by the shipwreck because you can have cool little battles between that shipwreck and then that little building there. That whole place too has a bunch of like destructive, like that whole top area, you can shoot out all the walls and or shoot through the walls. There's a lot of destructible walls there. But yeah, I think it flows pretty well because it's 3-lane, but it's got like a couple other lanes you can kind of go through, different areas you can hit. So I like that a lot. And I guess that's all the maps. So I think they're pretty good, honestly. Red Star blows, but I think all the maps are pretty good, and I think that's a good sign because we're going to be getting 16 multiplayer maps on launch.
Yes.
The other 4 are for the dog shit game mode. Champion Hill.
Yeah.
Which we didn't play and we won't be playing probably ever.
Correct.
But yeah, I thought they were good, and I think that's a pretty good sign. None of them are horrible. Red Star sucks, but it's still not as bad of a map than like MDub had in it. So I think that's a good sign. I'm hoping we'll end up with a lot of good ones. Yeah, I guess that's it.
Your point is well taken about Red Star is better than every Modern Warfare map. Like, not really, but yeah, like that's true. These maps are in general are going to be way better than MDubs. That is clearly true. Even Hotel Royal, for its faults, I'd play it over most Modern Warfare maps. Most Modern Warfare maps are worse than Hotel Royal for me. And worse than Red Star. Like, I agree with that. I really do agree with that. So that's fair. I think the maps are going to be pretty fine in general. Yeah, I think they'll be okay. It's just I was just surprised because I expected to like Hotel Royal a lot. I expected to like Eagle's Nest. I was not sure about Gavutu. And I expected to like Red Star on Blitz. Don't really, but a lot and another thing too is that a lot of these opinions might be because you can't choose your combat pacing in the beta. Now, it will let you try to, just doesn't matter though. You can set assault Dom only. That's not what you'll get, but you can set it. So I don't, sometimes if maybe I'm just getting unlucky and like every time I play, Hotel Royal, it's Blitz Patrol. And then, of course, you're not going to like the map. It's a fucking disaster. Yeah.
Yeah.
So my opinion on these things might change too when I can actually select what I want to play and it'll work. Typical Activision, by the way. Oh yeah, you can choose your combat pacing. Psych? No, you can't. Here's 6's red star search. IQ for patrol blitz. Don't care. Cool. Anyways, yeah, my opinions can change, and they're not abysmal. I agree with you there. I think all 4 of them are, they're playable. It was miles better than MW, so yeah, your point is well taken.
Yeah.
The spawns are fucking awful on patrol. Really dog shit.
Yeah, they're bugged out on patrol right now.
Yeah, there's like an actual problem. Patrol, Hotel Royal specifically. I played a match, dude. It was either Assault or Blitz. Patrol on Hotel Royal. Patrol's like the moving hardpoint. I played a match where I spawned behind not only an enemy, but a group of enemies like 3 times in one match. It is just it's a mess, dude. Like a lot of times. And there were many other instances between other matches where just the spawns in general on patrol are not good. A lot of times I was spawning behind people, and a lot of times people were spawning behind me. I had this happen once. I killed a guy. Not 5 seconds later, he kills me from behind. I watch the kill cam. I see him spawn behind me. Sick game. So, spawns are fucking terrible on patrol. They're way worse on patrol than other game modes, though. However, in other game modes, the spawns are still not great. They could use some works. This is map dependent, though. So, Gavutu TDM, I never once had an issue with spawns. The spawns work very well on Gavutu, actually, which you kind of brought up. You will always spawn. You will never spawn behind someone, and you'll never be getting shot off spawn. The spawns work really well in Gavutu, but it's a pretty big map, so it's not hard to fuck up. Whereas, like on most of the other maps, surprisingly, including Red Star, even not on patrol, you can spawn behind people pretty often. It's very weird. Now, I don't care about this because this happens with every Call of Duty. Spawns are a disaster. They patch it a couple times, they fix them, and then the spawns get better. This happened with MW, happened with Cold War, and it will happen with Vanguard. So I don't particularly care about this, but it does need to be said. Spawns definitely need some work, but I think they'll get it. I think the spawns will be totally fine. Maybe not right by launch, but soon after.
Yeah, the spawns aren't great for sure, but I'm not worried about it at all. The other thing too is like, besides that issue you're talking about with patrol, there are some major issues right now with like, there are a bunch of Twitter clips out there of a guy sitting on one side of Hotel Royal while they're playing patrol, and the whole enemy team constantly is spawning feet in front of him. He's just gunning them all down, right? Just constantly. This goes on for like 15, 20 seconds. They more and more keep spawning in. He just shoots them all right as they spawn. It's crazy. So stuff like that is a major problem. However, it will get to the point where stuff like that is mostly fixed, and there will still be people complaining about the spawns when they're playing Blitz. Listen, these maps are not designed for that player count. Like, Blitz is a game mode that's meant to be chaotic. It's not, you're gonna spawn in and die within 3 seconds often. That's the point of it. Have you ever played Shipment? That's what it is. So, like, besides those major issues, there's still a lot of people that keep like bitching about the spawns, and it's like, what do you expect? You're playing 20 versus 20 on a map that they designed and made for 6 versus 6. Like, what do you think is going to happen? They said themselves, make every map feel like Shipment. And I quote, that's what they said.
Yes, true.
It's like, of course it's going to be a disaster. Stop bitching about that shit. You know it's going to be awful.
Yeah.
So yeah, they could fix a lot to make things better, like just sitting there constantly shooting enemies in the back. That will be fixed, but the spawns in a mode like Blitz is always just going to be shit because they can't put enough people on the map and that not happen. It's just not possible.
Mm-hmm. True. Yeah.
And yeah, this is an issue in every single COD in the beta, and it gets better throughout the year always. The games don't usually... Their life cycle doesn't usually end, and they still have shit spawns. Like MW, the spawns were fine. Cold War, same thing. It was shit at launch. They ended up being fine, I feel like, for the most part. So this will get fixed for the normal game modes, but don't expect to not get shot 3 seconds off rip when you're playing Blitz, because that's just going to happen. If you don't want that, then don't queue for Blitz when the full game comes out. I know you can't do anything about it now, but yeah.
Yeah, agreed. Yeah, I don't think much more needs to be said. This will get way better, so I don't think it's that much of an issue.
Yeah.
Combat pacing. Not exactly what I expected. This is, again, another thing that's kind of not like a con exactly. It's just an observation that I was surprised to see. And Tanner's kind of swayed me on this a little bit, but what I had written down was, for example, Blitz Red Star is still awful, and I was surprised by this. However, I do think it depends on the game mode, because I think when I've gotten Blitz Red Star, it's been Patrol. And yeah, of course it's going to be awful, because there's 48 people fighting for one hard point that's wide in the open for much of the length of the patrol, because it goes around like the fucking middle of the map. Of course it's going to be shit on Blitz. Kind of makes sense. But I feel like TDM Blitz Red Star would feel pretty good. But still, yeah, a lot of this could be mode dependent though, because I played mostly Patrol. The more I think about it, like,
I think patrols where most of the spawn issues are. Yeah, absolutely.
And just most of the congestion, because I played like Eagle's Nest Assault Patrol, and even that felt like too much. However, if it was TDM, for example, I don't think 8v8 on Eagle's Nest would be too much. I think it would be really good, actually. So I guess all of this is to say that the game mode, I think, is really going to factor into what combat pacing you should pick. And I think if you're playing like TDM, you can afford to put more people in the match and it not feel crazy. But if you have one objective like Patrol, if you go more than 6v6, it's going to feel like a lot, because everyone's going to the same point on the map. So it's like, that kind of makes sense. So yeah, but I don't know. I was just surprised by the combat pacing, and the most fun matches I've had in the beta have been Patrol 6v6 Eagle's Nest, and that feels perfect. That feels like a good amount of players. But I think that says a lot about the game mode and the combat pacing, not just the combat pacing.
Yeah.
How do you feel about this?
Well, I like the combat pacing, honestly. I thought it was working out really well, and it'll be fun once we get more maps. Kind of hard to say right now, yeah, and that'll, there'll be a lot of balancing things, but 6v6 Eagle's Nest Patrol was very fun.
Yeah.
Like you're saying, yeah. But then when I was playing just TDM, I felt like it was too slow.
Yep, true.
It's going to be hard to even queue for what we want to play as well, because it's like, okay, do we queue for just 6v6 Patrol when the full game comes out? Do we queue for Blitz and all of that as well to like throw some things in the mix? It's going to be weird, because it varies so much from map to map. So, yeah, I'm not really sure what we're going to do about that, but yeah, I like combat pacing. I think it's a good addition and everything. Like the spawns in Blitz are fucking trash, yeah. But it's like you could still get a lot of kills and still make it fun. It's just like, if you're trying to go for a nuke or something and get like really good gameplay, you're not usually going to get that in Blitz.
True. Yeah.
If you get like a good spawn and then you're behind a bunch of people, you could somehow go on a nice streak. But I still stand by, what we had talked about, where I think it's going to be good for leveling up guns still, because you're going to be able to just get kills quicker no matter what. I mean,
yep.
Maybe in the long run it won't end up being worth it, because you'll be dying more too. But for how quick you have the chance of getting kills, I feel like it's just going to be better to play something like that no matter what.
Yeah. Yeah.
But, yeah. That's about it.
Yeah. I think once the game comes out, I'm going to be an Assault gamer in general. Assault's right. The middle one. I think that's good. But again, it still depends on what I'm playing. If I ever have a near-death experience and want to try TDM, then I'll queue like Blitz probably on many maps at least. But for like Patrol, I don't think I would ever go past assault unless I'm like trying to just get crazy and level guns.
Trying
and
to
shit.
get active,
Yeah. Or like, you know, I still love the combat pacing. I think it's an awesome idea. I'm really happy about it. And it does perform exactly as they said it would. Do you want every match to feel like Shipment? Play Blitz. They were right. Like,
yeah.
It works as intended. So, but like, you know, if you want to go for launcher double kills on an objective, cool. Blitz patrol. You will do that in no time.
True, yeah.
So like I was kind of mentioning that. I stand by it. It's going to be really nice to have this for challenges and shit too, and for just general enjoyment. And then last note here on the cons list, the sort of cons list, frangible ammo type should be removed from the game.
Yep.
It is insane. So I don't know what the description says in the game, but it like stops you from sprinting. It turns your screen like red or something. And it has aim punch. I swear to God, it gives you more flinch than a normal bullet does.
It for sure does, yeah. It also delays your health regen.
Yep. So, frangible just shouldn't be in the game. That's my position. But if you're absolutely certain that you should have it, it needs to not incur more flinch on the person you're shooting than other ammo types do. Because if I can just make you flinch way more than you can make me flinch, why would I ever run anything but frangible? You can't win in a gunfight. A heads-up gunfight 1v1, you both start shooting each other at the same time. If you have frangible and the other guy doesn't, you can't lose. The aim punch is crazy. And you can't move either, so you just are stuck there fucked. Like, there's nothing you can do. Even if you aim better than him. It's like, well, okay, cool, but you're butt aim punch. You're just going everywhere. I don't know if this is intended or not. I should take a look at the description for frangible rounds, but at the very least, if they're not going to remove them entirely, they should not give you more flinch than other ammo types. That is insane. Why would this be in the game is beyond me. But this is one of the core issues I've always talked about in any FPS game. Don't add things that don't have counterplay. This is the biggest issue this is one of the core problems with a lot of the issues I have with Call of Duty specifically. Like dead silence, stopping power, frangible rounds. What do these all have in common? They have no counterplay. That's why they're so bad for the game. What the fuck am I supposed to do when I'm getting shot with frangible rounds? Die. That's all you can do.
Really.
So you've experienced the aim punch too. Do you know if this is intended or stated as intended?
I don't remember, but it's a disaster, yeah. And you know, this is kind of, so when we were talking about ammo mods a while ago, we were saying how subsonic rounds, which is one of the caliber types or ammo types in this game, is one that's going to keep you off the radar this year when firing weapons. Yep. So suppressors don't do that. And we had said, oh, that means, you know, unless there's something better, then like everyone's going to run that. So then you can't run the perk where red dots show up on the radar. Well, boom, here's frangible. Now there's no reason to run anything else. It is just from everything from the weapon categories I was using, which was primarily ARs and SMGs, they all varied somewhat. It was the best one. There was no reason to run anything else.
Yep.
Yeah, it's just so busted. It was annoying to get hit by, and I am a little worried that also won't be patched. Actually, to be honest,
I don't think
that
it
one
will.
worries me as well.
Yeah, I don't think it will. It's just it's wild, dude. If you know, like in MDub, there's two different types of frangible weapon perks. There's disabling, where if you shoot the legs, you stop them from sprinting, or there's wounding, which delays health regen. Those are both fine, I think. It would be annoying to get shot by like frangible disabling, but there's at least counterplay. Shoot him back.
Yeah.
But in this game, those are both frangible, disabling, and wounding are combined into one, and also you get more flinch now? Crazy.
Yeah.
There's no counterplay. You can't run away because it has that effect, and you can't shoot them back either. Literally, what are you supposed to do? You can't do anything. So this needs to be changed, and like Tanner said, I'm very worried that it won't be, because who's talking about it? I haven't seen one tweet, one murmur, one whisper of a
Hopefully
complaint.
people, I honestly feel like increasing the amount of flinch del is something that like a casual player isn't thinking about, though, honestly. Like I feel like when a casual player is going to pick their ammo type, they're going to default to like FMJ because they see bullet penetration. Because I feel like they don't understand what increasing flinch really does for them, because they don't know any better. Because when they get hit by something, they probably don't even realize what that means. And so it's going to be one of those things that's always going to be in the game and is never going to be patched because the majority of players don't notice it.
True. Meanwhile, because of SBMM, everyone in our lobby is going to be running it.
And it does increase flinch. So I just double checked it. +2 increased flinch, delays enemy healing, and hitting their leg slows movement. And it's like, so what's the point in running the other ones? Like FMJ, it just does +1 bullet pen. Subsonic keeps you off the radar. Armor piercing, more damage to vehicles and kill streaks. Incendiary does a little bit more damage that burns them. Lengthen bullet velocity. It's like, what? Why would you run any of those other ones over frangible when you're going to fuck up someone's aim? It doesn't make sense.
Yeah.
It's like, all of these weapon attachments and all of these options, but it's like there's going to be one thing from every category that's going to end up being overpowered. That's going to give you no reason to experiment with the other 70 attachments, True. So fuck frangible. I don't like it.
Yeah. And another issue with it too is that if the guy you're shooting sees you, frangible's really good because it increases their flinch. And if they don't see you and they're like running away, it's also really good because you're just going to stop them from running away. Like, it's so good, dude. It's such a good ammo mod. Fuck it. And like you said, I feel like it's going to be slept on because casuals are going to say, oh, incendiary does more damage. That must be the best one. That's what people are going to think. That means the majority of people won't be running it. That means the majority of people won't even know that they need to be complaining about this because it's so overpowered. So yeah, I'm very worried about this as well. And cringe.
Yeah.
And since you can put something in every slot, then everyone's going to be running something.
Yeah.
So I don't know. We'll see. Hopefully this becomes so popular that it gets complained about enough to where they take out the flinch.
Yeah, I haven't seen people talking about it at all. You're right.
I don't know. It's wild, but it's really cancer. So that is that. Any other cons you'd like to discuss, Tanner Dropshot?
Not that I can think of, no. Support for the Dropshot is brought to you by Manscaped, who is the best in men's below-the-waist grooming, champions of the world. Manscaped offers precision-engineered tools for your family jewels. Manscaped just launched their 4th-generation trimmer, the Lawnmower 4.0. You heard that right, the 4.0. Join over 2 million men worldwide who trust Manscaped with its exclusive offer for you, 20% off and free worldwide shipping with the code DROPSHOT at manscaped.com. Imagine shaving with a sleek, well-designed, and optimized trimmer that makes shaving time your favorite time in the bathroom. I'm one of the first people to try the new 4.0, and I'm blown away by the performance, honestly. The craftsmanship and the details in the 4.0 are just next level. We all know everyone's trimmed their nuts, right? It happens. You get a little cut, doesn't feel good. It's not great. We've all experienced it. Since I've been using the Lawnmower 4.0, that has not happened, and I don't expect it to happen. They engineered the ultimate groin and body trimmer by focusing on intelligent functionality and an incredibly comfortable grooming experience. Their 4th-generation trimmer features a cutting-edge ceramic blade to reduce grooming accidents thanks to their advanced skin-safe technology. I now feel comfortable shaving my boys. This upgraded trimmer includes a multi-function on and off switch that can engage a travel lock, which is perfect for me. It also gives you the ability to turn on the LED spotlight when needed for a more precise shave. Lawnmower 4.0 even allows you to customize your trim through additional guard lengths with sizes 1 through 4. Did we mention wireless charging? The new wireless charging system uses electromagnetic induction, which can help battery length last longer. Men, if you've been shaving with the same nut trimmer on your face, you've been doing it wrong. That's disgusting. No person wants to end up with pubes in their mouth. Knock it off. It's time to get your own ball, hair, and body trimmer with Manscaped to make me time the best time and enhance your confidence with some nice smooth boys. Get 20% off and free shipping with the code DROPSHOT at manscaped.com. That's 20% off with free shipping at manscaped.com and use code DROPSHOT. Unlock your confidence and always use the right tools for the job with Manscaped.
Next, pros. So, again, as we said, this is not going to be as exhaustive of a list as the cons because there were a lot of things we liked about the game, and we're just going to kind of hit some broad strokes and talk about things that we either really like or things that are new that we like. And even in that scope, we're still probably going to be forgetting a couple things, just like the cons. We didn't forget any cons, I don't think. Maybe a couple, but we'll do our best, and these are in no particular order. So first, gunsmith. The gunsmith in this game is, and like how the attachment descriptions are the best yet. So in Modern Warfare, if it said increased recoil control, who knows what that means? Who knows? No one really. And by how much, to what degree, whatever. So my favorite example to illustrate this point is Modern Warfare. Stippled grip tape increases your sprint to fire time. 5 milliwatt laser also increases your sprint to fire time. Which one does it more? Exactly. That's a problem because they're not the same. In fact, by the way, it's 5 milliwatt. That increases your sprint to fire time more than stippled grip tape does. But you wouldn't know that by looking at the video game because it doesn't tell you. That's stupid. So the gunsmith was cool, but it had some issues like that. And many of the pros and cons were just wrong. If it said it increased recoil control, it actually decreased it. And M-Dub was a dumpster fire shit disaster of a game, which we've of course gone over. Cold War, gunsmith was way better than that because it would tell you how many more newtons your fucking bullet will travel at. Literally, it'll say, oh, okay, currently your bullet goes 900 meters per second. If you add this barrel onto it, it'll go 917.31487 or whatever the fuck meters per second. That was a significant improvement because then you could compare a 5 milliwatt to a stippled, and since you'd have actual numbers, that would be incredibly helpful for you to know, and you'd be able to see which one improves the sprint to fire, for example, more. I think, hey, objective numbers, absolute values, that's all great. I'm not a physicist, though. I don't need to know how many meters per second my gun's going, or my bullets are going. I'm going to be honest. I don't fucking care how many newtons of force this fucking melee is going to do now that I put a breacher device on. Doesn't matter to me. So I think Vanguard has actually made this the best yet, which is +1 or -1 or +2 or +3. That's great. If it is the case that +1 aim down sight speed is always the same amount of an increase, then this is the best system yet.
Yeah.
Because then you can just say, okay, well, my barrel, grip, and underbarrel each have +1 aim down sight time, so I can afford to use this magazine that's -2 aim down sight time because overall I'm still +1. And you can and that's just very easy. It's very easy. It's very simplified. I don't have to get out my TI-87 calculator, and it's just super simple and awesome. This is the best way yet. Again, assuming that +1 always means the same thing. I don't know
Yeah.
if that's the case, but it seems
It
like
probably won't.
yeah, well, yeah. So if that's the case, then this is the best gunsmith system yet, and I really deeply enjoy it. Now, there are still some issues with the gunsmith. There are a number of descriptions, most of which escape me right now, where it says it does something and I don't know what that thing is. So we're still doing this recoil control, recoil. So there's recoil control. There's like recoil stability or something. There's accuracy. What?
Yeah, I don't know what
is
accuracy
that?
would do. Yeah, that one confuses me.
Great question, and what that does. So there are still some issues with the gunsmith. I don't know what the fuck the difference is between accuracy and recoil control. Make it more clear. But besides that, the +1, -1 system I think is fucking awesome and super helpful. What are your thoughts, Tanner?
Yeah, I love that system as well. You could also still get the detailed stats like Cold War has if you
Then
press
that's the best
A button.
of both worlds. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I think the system's perfect. That's to be expected. You know, MW did it first, so it was the worst, but still pretty good for what it had.
True.
And then, you know, got better with Cold War. Now it's even better with Vanguard. That's kind of to be expected. So,
True.
Yeah, Gunsmith is looking really good. Yeah, we need to figure out what a lot of these things mean because there are a lot of new ones this year. Accuracy, I mean, a lot of them are self-explanatory too, like initial recoil and stuff. So it's like your first shot is going to have more recoil. So there's not a lot of new ones in general. But yeah, accuracy, I'm like, what could that mean? Less bullet spread, maybe? But, you know, I don't know.
Yeah.
But overall, Gunsmith is really good. Yeah, I agree.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yeah. So that's cool. Weapon category balance also seems quite good. Now, and I emphasize, weapon category balance seems good. Here's what's not balanced, the MP40. Nerf it. I don't care about that, though, because they'll do weapon nerfs all the time. Jesus Christ, the MP40 is a terror in this beta. It is so much better than every other gun. But anyways, the category...
I was shredding with it so much, dude, I forgot I had a bunch of attachments for it. I literally got it to level 14 with 0 attachments on, and I never had an issue. And then I was like, oh shit, I keep unlocking attachments, and I finally put some stuff on it, because it doesn't... You don't need any. It's base gun. It's better than like every other gun in the game. It's crazy.
Yes, it's fucking insane. So
yeah.
Besides that, the category balance is very, very good. And this is something that I think Cold War got wrong because assault rifles weren't worth using in Cold War. In this game, they are. And again, I'm ashamed that I have to say that I'm ashamed that I have to mention that assault rifles working is a good thing for a first-person shooter game, because you might retort, of course the fucking assault rifles work. Well, you'd think. But Cold War, they did it. They weren't worth using. So I am forced to say the categories, they all offer something, and the balance between them is really good. So like the sprint to fire difference on like a no attachment SMG versus a no attachment LMG is significant in this game. Really significant.
Yeah.
If you want to run and gun with an LMG, you probably can, but you need to put attachments on that help you do that. And you're still never going to be anywhere close to just a no attachment SMG, let alone a sprint to fire build on an SMG. You're never getting there. And that's how it should be, because SMGs also don't seem to have very much range at all. Damage range, I mean, which is great. Except the MP40, yeah. Which is great, because that's how you'd balance an SMG. Because then you might be thinking, why the fuck would I use an LMG? Well, they fuck at every range. They really fuck. So pros and cons, and the categories I think are really balanced very well between each other. And there is like a function to each category, and it performs as you would expect, roughly. Now, I haven't used a shotgun once in the beta, and I actually, before we say anything else, have you used a shotgun, Tanner?
I haven't, no.
Here's another pro. because I didn't write this down, but now that I'm thinking about it, I really didn't die to many shotguns in this beta.
I heard they were bad in this game, actually, is what I saw.
That's fantastic. I was going to say,
Yeah.
I don't know if that's because the people in my lobbies aren't detestable pieces of shit reprobates, or if shotguns are just shit. Hopefully shotguns are fucking terrible. I don't know. I haven't used them, but I haven't seen that many. That's a good thing. And that leads me to believe they're just not that good in this game. But then again, when you have the MP40, why use anything else? Even if the shotguns are good. Anyways, weapon categories are pretty well balanced between each other. What are your thoughts on that?
Yeah, not much else to add. Like, LMGs are really slow. You're kind of forced to not move a whole lot if you want to use them. SMGs, you absolutely zoom with. I was having so much fun setting up SMGs with all movement speed buffs. And I feel like there are a lot of those, by the way. There are a lot of attachments that like increase your ADS speed, your sprint to fire.
Yep.
All of it. It felt really good. So I was just absolutely zooming. I was happy to see that. But yeah, there's going to be a lot of unbalanced guns at launch, but the overall category seem like they all have their place, is I think the best way to say it. They all,
Yes.
The devs at least know what they're trying to get. SMG's fast, LMG's slow, AR's everything else, etc. So I'm glad they seem to nail that. I'm very excited for SMGs in this game, though. Holy shit.
Yes.
I love zooming, man. Oh, my God.
Yeah, agreed. And that leads to our next point, which is movement is exceptional in this game. Now, I know we started by talking about the weird fucking tack sprint thing or whatever, and how that makes sliding a lot of power squatting. When things... And that could be just because we're not used to this game yet, or we don't understand how tack sprint works. There's that delay. I don't know if it should be there. If it is, then you can adjust, and then you'll be able to like not power squat, and you'll be able to slide when you want and all that. So when things are performing as I want them to, which is to say once I'm more used to or understand Vanguard movement, the movement in this game will go down as the best movement of any Call of Duty I've ever played for me. Easily. You move fast as fuck. Boy, the slide is really fluid, and you slide pretty quickly and pretty far. Strafe speed seems to be very quick. Not really ADS strafe speed, actually, but like just moving laterally. Very fast. I fucking love them, and it feels good too. I feel like I'm moving quickly. Sprint feels faster than walk, and tack sprint feels way faster than walk. And again, mainly deep slides, dude. The slides are deep, and I love it. And I've slid inside, past, through, and then shooting many people, and it feels awesome because this has a lot of outplay, counterplay potential. You can really get behind people and finesse them if you want to. I think the movement is better than any Call of Duty I've ever played. I haven't played any jetpack CODs. I know a lot of sweats really like those. I haven't played them. So for me, BO4, MW, Cold War, this is easily the best movement in any COD I've ever played. And once I figure out how to slide my character, this is going to be it's so goddamn fun. And just the base movement speed. I mean, you move fast.
Zooming.
Best COD movement I've ever played. What are your thoughts on this?
Yeah, the speed, definitely. I would have to agree with you on that. The speed's really good. The sprint to fire can get really good, all of that. There is just, it's like that weird thing kind of with the sliding sometimes, where it's like the delay, and then also like right now we don't really know how to slide cancel like we used to in reset tack sprint, so that feels a little off as well. But probably once I get used to it, I will like this movement more than like MW, even because of the movement speed alone and the sprinting speed and everything. That was the very first thing I noticed when I loaded up the game and played it. I was like, bro, this movement is fast. This is very nice. And then, you pick up an LMG and you're a lot slower. It's very well balanced. So I think in its current state for me, movement's better than Cold War, not quite as good as MW. But yeah, I think as I play it more and just get used to it and figure out how it really works, I'll probably end up liking it more than MW. But as of right now, I still don't. I think overall MW movement is just a little bit more fluid. There's like no delays with anything. The ability to attack sprint. But yeah, like in terms of just straight zooming and like sprinting speed and everything, Vanguard definitely is a winner in that sense, I believe. So
yeah,
I'm excited though. It's because Cold War is just always clunky. Like you'd be walking and then you'd be jogging pretty slow, and then you would slide and you would slide about 30 feet at about 50 miles an hour. It was just it made no sense. And then you come out of the slide and you'd be barely walking again. Just felt horrific. Always. Fuck Cold War movement. Holy shit, it was bad.
Yeah, everything about it was awkward.
Yeah. Awkward game.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Even
movement in this
ADS
game really, really good, which is a fantastic core mechanic that we were worried about because of Cold War. So I am no longer worried about this, and I'm happy to report the movement's excellent.
Yeah. Yeah, I think this is the best part of Vanguard for me so far, is just how...
Everything is smooth, dude.
Dude, yeah, it feels like... This is going to sound dumb to say, but it feels good to just move your character.
Yeah.
Like I like how it feels. The fluidity and the speed. Yeah. You're just like you're almost just gliding through the map, dude. Like you're on skates just gliding, and then you want to do a deep slide and you just do a deep fucking slide, dude. Just deep slides, dude. God, it feels good. I really enjoy it.
Get in there deep, yeah.
I really enjoy the movement and the slide itself. And yeah, there's some hitches, but I don't know if it's us or the game or us not understanding how the movement works and the attack, sprint, and slide works. So once both. Exclusive Ace does a video on like how to move your character in Vanguard, and I actually understand what the fuck this delay shit is and what's going on. If I like understand it, then I'll be like, okay. And then you can get used to that. And then it's going to be just the best ever for me, I think. So we'll see, but I'm very, very pleased with the movement. Next, the hit registration is fine. The hit reg is fine. I shoot at people and the bullets register pretty much all the time. I've seen some people like sort of complaining about this. Nowhere near the disaster of Cold War, though. Never seen hit reg worse than the Cold War beta. I still can't believe it. But the hit reg in this game, even in the beta, seems good. It's better than any Treyarch game's hit reg has ever been. I don't know why.
Treyarch can't do hit reg,
I don't know why they can't. At least since BO4, you can't shoot people. Your bullets don't hit where you think they will. I don't get it. But whatever. The hit reg in this game feels fine. I haven't had really any issues with it ever. And wall banging actually feels pretty good. I'll add that onto this as well. For the most part, things that you would expect to be bangable are, and things you wouldn't expect to be bangable are not. That is fairly surprising to me. I was actually worried that the destructible environments would make this not the case, and that there would be glaring inconsistencies. But so far, it's actually performed like quite well. This was a big problem for MW. There are styrofoam cups in MW that you can't wallbang. And then there are Kevlar 3-foot concrete walls that you can shoot through like paper in MW. The bangable surfaces in MW are wildly inconsistent and don't make sense. And they are completely counterintuitive many times. And you have to, in like Warzone, you have to just remember, like, okay, is this a bangable wall or not? Because you certainly can't tell by looking at it. But that is not the case at all so far anyway for Vanguard. Wall bangs work as expected so far. And again, the hit reg seems fun. Lag comp is definitely an issue I've seen. the beta connection's just been kind of weird too. So this could be a server issue that'll get helped more once the servers are stabilized and we're live. And lag comp is where I have 90 ping and I shoot you and then you run behind the wall and then die. So then as the person who's killed, it looks like you died behind the wall where it's not possible to have died from. It's because you got lag comped. Lag compensation is what that's called. It's a dumb mechanic that they do for latency discrepancies. That's definitely happened a couple times. And the lag comp has been pretty bad on a couple of my deaths. I'm going to be honest. I'm very far behind the wall. But that's a separate issue from hit registration. They're not related. So what are your thoughts on the hit reg?
So I was thinking originally there were some hit reg issues, but then I realized the issues I was seeing was like shooting invisible objects, like when mounting and doing stuff like that. So there are some problems like that, but if like people are in the open and I'm just having a gunfight, I haven't noticed hit reg issues. Like there's one lane on Eagle's Nest. You know how the one side there's like the broken up walkway, and then on the other side there's like the covered walkway lane. On that lane, there's some boxes. If you mount on those and try shooting, you just shoot the box, even though your gun is mounted on top of it. So when that happened a few times, I was like, bro, what is with the shit hit reg? And then I quickly realized that it was just because like there are invisible objects blocking your bullets. But other than that, yeah, not too many issues with hit reg. I did feel like I got killed slightly around the corner a few times. That happens always, though. And, you know, we know this will be improved upon, even though it's already pretty good, because Cold War got a lot better. Cold War launched with horrible hit reg and got a lot better. So, you know, this will get better over time as the game goes on. But yeah, in a pretty good state right now, I would say, in that sense.
Yeah,
No major issues.
I agree. I think at the latest, 1 month after launch, the hit reg will be virtually perfect. As perfect as an online FPS game can have hit reg, I think. Yeah. That's basically how I feel. Because it feels pretty good. And that's a good thing. What's this next point here, Tanner?
You know, other than your crashing issues you originally had because you had too many friends, cringe, get less friends, the PC performance is pretty good. And I saw some people in our Discord that was on the newest gen console saying that performance was really good too. So that's a good sign for both Vanguard in general and especially Warzone too. If this translates over to Warzone, the new map and everything, if we don't have to use filters, that's going to be great to get just higher performance, you know, no lag, no stuttering, because that's always been an issue. In Warzone, even the performance in Modern Warfare multiplayer wasn't the greatest. I think Cold War had better performance to it for the most part, but it also had graphics that look like they were from a game made in 2014. So this has modern graphics, really good PC performance, no stuttering, runs very smooth. I only crashed, I think. I honestly think I only crashed once when I was playing. That's pretty good for a beta, for having like 5 hours at least of gameplay in.
Yeah,
only crashing once randomly. Yeah, and it was something weird. It wasn't even like a dev error. I just was at my desktop all of a sudden. No idea what happened. But yeah, that's a good sign because Cold War I had a lot of issues with the entire year, and you know Warzone there's a lot of crashing issues too still. So hopefully this stays pretty good in that sense.
Yeah, I didn't really think about this. And this is why it's harder to make a good pros list and cons list, because here's something about like employees too at work, by the way. If something is working well, you don't notice it because it's working well. Yeah. You know, that's kind of how things go. So like you manage a fucking store and your customer service department is working really well. You just won't ever think about it because it's just working. You don't need to do anything. Yeah. That's why it's harder to make a pros list, because a lot of things, if it's working, I just don't think about it because I don't notice it because it's working as it should. This was one thing. You're right. Dude, the PC performance is actually really good.
It's pretty nutty.
Like in Warzone and MDub, and I think sometimes in even Cold War multiplayer too, There will be times where I'll get like micro stutters where it's like I'm not lagging and I don't like dip in frames exactly, but it's just like a micro split second of like a little stutter. And anyone who's played video games for any length of time knows what I'm talking about. I haven't experienced any micro stutters, no stuttering at all in this beta. I also got 0 crashes and I always have great frames, no frame dips, like literally no performance issues actually.
Yeah. Ran really smooth.
It runs insanely smoothly, yeah.
Going from like normal 6s to Blitz 2 had no difference on my frame rate from what I noticed, which is good. Because I was worried about that. Is like playing 24 versus 24 on some of these small maps, a lot of lag and stuff, but I didn't experience any of that. And like what you were saying with the pros and cons list, by the way, yeah, it sounds like we're complaining more than we're saying pros, but this is a really good beta, I think. I'm very shocked actually at how well it's performing. The audio is a massive issue, but other than that, everything's pretty good. But there's not a whole lot of pros to talk about because it's just, there's a bunch of things that are just working as they're supposed to. So there's not a whole lot to say about them. Yeah. Because they're not just entirely broken.
Yeah, true. So another point, by the way, on the PC performance thing, when we do get the vehicles and the ground war or war, because they're going to do something with vehicles in multiplayer. So whenever we get that mode, it's going to be like way bigger maps and a way bigger player count. Because it runs so fucking smoothly right now, it's probably going to run really well for like really big maps with a lot of shit going on. Because if it runs this smoothly for 24v24, where your frames don't dip from 6v6 version, it's probably going to handle like the large scale whatever they're attempting really super well. That's really good, actually. That bodes super well. And if we're using this engine for Warzone, it bodes well for Warzone too, because this game absolutely runs smoother than MDub multiplayer. So it would stand to reason that if we're on this engine, Warzone will also run better as well. And that's like a really important and good point. I'm glad you added this. That's very helpful. Yeah. So, and then also the stuns are not that bad.
They hardly even affect your aim. They basically just make it so you can only walk for a few seconds. I got stunned right before I got off to call in tonight, and I could turn all around. I mean, it's slightly limited, but God, nothing like Modern Warfare. Holy shit, nothing.
Yeah. Yep. Yeah.
Almost not even worth running because they're not overpowered, really.
Well, yeah. I think they are worth running because if you get stunned and you don't have tac mask or whatever it's called, you move way slower. So you can't like get out of that position. But you can still turn your character. So again, another core issue is lack of counterplay. That's the problem with MDub stuns. There's no counterplay. If you get stunned, you can't move or aim. So you will just die. Fun. But the stuns in this game are both worth using because you can stop a player from moving, but also they have counterplay because even though you can't move, you can at least aim. So the guy who stunned you, if he comes into your room, you can't move, so you're going to be at a disadvantage, but you can still kill him because you can aim your gun. So I think the stuns are like well balanced, which is, again, one of many things I wouldn't bother mentioning were it not for past Call of Duty games, like an MDub, where if you get stunned, particularly on keyboard and mouse, but also on controller, you'll just die. You can't do anything. And Battle Hardened doesn't do anything either. So you can't even counterplay by running a shit perk. There's nothing you can do. Battle Hardened has no effect on stuns in MDub. But in this game, by the way, I'll also mention tac mask really works. If you get stunned with tac mask, I mean, you hear a weird noise for a split second. That's like it, though. Like, it works super well. It counter stuns really aggressively. So, yeah, that's another pro, I would say. So, any other pros we should mention here, Tanner Dropshot?
No, not that I can think of.
Yeah. Okay. So overall, everything, all the pros, all the cons, mix it all up in a cauldron, make a little soup, and take a sip. What does it taste like?
Can you edit that out?
I might edit that out. What are your overall impressions of the beta?
Really good. I'm having a good time on the beta. I'm still not even really actually bored of it, which is kind of crazy. It's almost fun just to play it, to shoot people with. It's pretty interesting. So I think it's in a good state. The audio alone can turn this into one of the worst CODs ever if they don't fix that. Because that alone is enough to make a game just awful. And I'm not expecting them to make it perfect, which is terrible. But I hope they'll get it to a point at least where it's playable and fine. If footstep audio is quieter than in past CODs, fine. But I need to be able to hear someone shooting behind me. I need to be able to hear them running up, at least when they're 6 feet behind me. Give me some audio cue. The announcer needs to have an option to shut him the fuck up or mute him specifically, because just horrible.
Oh, that's another con. Yeah.
Yeah, that's another major con, which falls into the audio issue. The audio, all in all, is just horrible. Gunsmith is dope. I think they did it really well this year. Like you're saying, they made it easy to understand, easy to read. A lot of the attachments seem really good, too. I'm excited to get into building with those. Maps seem decent. We get a ton of them at launch. 20 maps total, 16 multiplayer. Gunplay felt pretty good. I was kind of shocked with that too. It just always felt good shooting people. I don't know. It's crazy because like Cold War, shooting people just doesn't feel right. It feels like shit. And this game, it feels good. So I like that a lot. That's actually going to get worse as we get the full game, because everyone's going to be running different guns, way more attachments. There are probably some toxic fucking high-end attachments that I haven't seen yet.
True.
That are just, plus 20 flinch, some dog shit like that. There's going to be some broken attachments.
I'm going to be so mad.
Oh, there will be other flinch attachments.
I hope not, but you're probably right. Fuck,
yeah.
Dude. Yeah.
Yeah, so...
Yeah.
And I'm a little worried about them balancing it with the amount of attachments too, because like I'm saying, if there's attachments from different categories that cause flinch, that's what I'm running. I'm running frangible bullets, and I'm running every flinch attachment. So when I shoot anyone, their gun is straight up in the air, and it's just a free kill. So hopefully we don't have any problems like that. I haven't seen any yet, but who knows?
Yeah.
All in all, game felt really smooth. Movement, amazing. I love it. Gunplay, good. Movement, gunplay, and audio are three of the biggest things in a video game. Gunplay is good in this game. Movement's really good. Audio is awful. So it's, we're kind of balancing things. We got some good things and we got some horrible things. And let's just hope they turn those audio issues around. But yeah, I think I'm having a ton of fun. I think it's really good.
Yeah. And I think that's actually a more important point than you listeners might think. The degree to which you enjoy the beta is going to say a lot. So, like, the MW beta, we really did not enjoy. And I'm enjoying the Vanguard beta a lot more than I enjoyed the MW beta. And likewise, I'm enjoying it more than I enjoyed the Cold War beta, too. It is a lot of fun. The biggest plus for me is the movement. It makes the game so goddamn fun, and there is a lot of outplay potential with how good the movement is in this game, and I really like it. They did a lot of things right. They got a lot of things right so far, and hopefully these things are not all a moot point if they don't fix a couple of the glaring, pun intended, issues. Visibility, if it didn't change at all, I think would still be playable because of the little diamonds over people's heads. If the visibility never got better, I would say, okay, well, the visibility kind of sucks in this game, but it's at least playable. So to what degree they're going to improve the visibility, I don't know. I don't think they'll improve it much, if at all, but I'm not super concerned with that because it's at least in a playable state right now. Audio, however, not a playable state. The audio is not in a playable state. I will reiterate. I will stress this again. Level 21 have never heard an enemy move once, literally. And I'm not exaggerating and I'm not joking. I have not once thought there's a guy in this hallway tack sprinting at me because I heard him. It's never happened. So that is a real fucking problem. And will they fix this problem? The answer to that question will determine whether this is a really good game or not. And it's actually that simple. At the end of the day, I genuinely think it is this simple. Casey, is Vanguard going to be a good game? Depends how they fix the audio, or if they do. If they make the audio playable, not even great. Because here's another point. This will not be a perfect game. It's not possible. We are too far along for them to make the visibility actually great and the audio actually great. Those things will never happen. It's gone. The best you can hope for is playable, decent. We can hope for decent visibility. We're pretty much there. We're at playable. We're not at decent, actually. We're at playable, which is a step under decent. We're at playable visibility. It might become decent. It will never rise to the level of Black Ops 4 visibility, though, where you can see enemies clearly always. That's never happening. So this won't be a perfect game for that reason, and also audio. Audio, we are at the floor. We are subterranean, in fact. It's not only unplayable, it's a disaster. The audio is a fucking disaster mess. So, will Vanguard be good? If they can bring the audio from underground, if they can mine it and make it to where it is passable, where I can sometimes hear enemy players on the map instead of not hearing them once, level 21 in the beta, haven't heard them once. If they can change that, then I think Vanguard will be a great game. But if they don't, then I think it's going to be a fun, cute mini game that I play sometimes, and I mainly use it to level weapons in Warzone. And it's that simple, because the audio is a fucking mess. And I will again echo Tanner's rage and sentiments behind, how do you have a dedicated audio team and you have allowed a game to get this far 46 days before launch in this state? Fire all of them. Clean house. The audio head at Sledgehammer, fire him and make a press release apologizing to your shareholders and your consumers for allowing it to get this bad this far. It's negligent. It is negligent. It is all, I would argue, criminally negligent to sell a product where the audio just doesn't matter at all. You can, I swear to God, I'm not kidding. I swear to God, you can play this game with no audio. You can just turn off the volume and you would do precisely as well as if you had it full blast with Sennheiser $3,000 earbuds. I'm not kidding. You would do precisely as well, because the audio just doesn't matter. So that's my opinion. I think Vanguard can be really good if they can figure it the fuck out, but fire the audio team. Fire them.
Audio is very,
insane.
If you haven't played the beta, guys, listeners, we do exaggerate a lot and bullshit a lot. This is not an exaggeration. You cannot hear someone shooting directly behind you. It is absurd.
Yeah, it really
crazy.
is. And it would be a real shame for an otherwise really compelling and fun game to be just ruined because of how many guys are in an audio team? 5 people. It would be a real shame if Activision Publishing Corporation, multi-billion-dollar international company, allowed their flagship premium title for the next year to be ruined by 5 assholes. It would be a real shame.
Yeah.
So hopefully they figure it out. They've said they're going to look into it. Man, I don't know. It would have to be leaps and bounds better than now to even be decent. And that would be a really big transformation in 46 days and 23 hours. So we'll see.
Yeah.
But I don't know. So anyway, that's what I think. It'll be really good if they can figure out the audio. Everything else I would swallow.
Yeah, I agree.
Anyway, anything else, Tanner?
No, I don't think so.
All right, boys. That is it. Those are our Vanguard thoughts. We will certainly have more to say on Wednesday or next weekend. We'll have more to say on a Patreon episode coming shortly, and we'll definitely have more to say once launch happens. I am very curious and very excited for launch to see what they've done with their audio team. And I have Twitter noties on for Sledgehammer. I eagerly await a press release saying, "Hey, sorry, we fired them all."
Yeah,
that would be great.
Happen, yeah.
I feel like I could do a better job. Just go in there and say, let's get footstep sounds from any other video game, plug them in, add 30 decibels, and we're fine. Whatever. Anyways, those are our thoughts, and we are very excited. Once again, boys and girls, patreon.com/thedropshot. It's the best way to support the show. We've got bonus episodes of the program, 5 a month. We've got gameplay breakdowns. We do weekly hangouts. Things got real fucking aggressive last night. It was very fun, and more. So if you wanted to waste money on this dog shit podcast, patreon.com/thedropshot is the best way to support the show. Thedropshot.com is our website. It has links to every fucking thing there. So check us out. You can find the Patreon link there, the YouTube, the TikTok, all that shit. That's our kind of hub for everything related to this podcast. Boys and girls, that is it. Thank you all for watching. Thank you for listening. We'll see you on Wednesday. Have an excellent evening, of course. And as always, remember, stay humble.
Stay humble.